Hi, it's Liz from West Star Tarot. Welcome. Um, so, I for quite some time have been doing monthly favorites. So, at the end of the month, I will do my favorites from that month or things I've been interested in or whatever. Um, and sometimes that worked and sometimes it didn't because sometimes I was in the mood and sometimes I wasn't in the mood. And then it would be the middle of the next month, and I'd think, well, now I'm in the mood, but it's kind of late. And then I saw Marlena Teresa do a video called Five Things I'm Loving, something like that. And so I did a VR to that a few weeks ago. And I thought, I think this might have to be my new format because like today, I felt like talking about things I'm enjoying right now. It's August 15th, so halfway through August. So I haven't done July favorites yet. The things that I'm going to be talking about, I think most of them all started. I started enjoying them in July. So they really could technically be July favorites. But I'm an Aries and we're not very good about schedules and formats and things like that. And so I thought, I think for a while, and I'm just going to see how this works. So these are some things I'm enjoying right now, August 15th, 2024, most of which I started enjoying in July. Some not until August, however. All right. So, in July, I'm going to start with this. This is cedar. It's dried. So, I've talked about this Oracle deck by Asha Frost, artwork by Steph Littlebird, on and on and on. I really, really love this. And the end of June, I did a spread posted by Alice. Oh, Alice. I'm going to have to put her channel name, her Instagram in the description box because Starlight and Sage, something like that. Anyway, I'll put it in the description box. Anyway, she posted a spread, sort of like a halfway point, halfway through the year spread. And it was 8 different cards. And then at the bottom, it was 6 cards to pull for July through December. And so I used an tarot deck for the 8 cards in the spread. And then I decided, I'm going to use an oracle deck for my 6 months, July through December. And I decided to use this one because I love it so much and why not? So I think it was November I pulled cedar. And I did this the end of June, beginning of July, the 6-month forecast. So for July, I got planting seeds. All these are upstairs in my tarot room. And my card for August is wild. Shawl Dancer, wild. And I gotta say, my month of August has been wild. And a lot of what's been happening was not planned or anticipated. We had unexpected company and a whole bunch of things happened. So it has been really busy and kind of wild and fun, and I'm really enjoying myself. But anyway, cedar. So, cedar, this is extraction, and this is what Asha has to say about it. Healing affirmation. I trust cedar as my plant ally, allowing it to clear me from whatever is no longer serving. When we light cedar, it sparks and crackles, and this sound is said to call on our spirit helpers. And it really does have a really crispy, sparkly sound when you light the dried cedar. Cedar is an integral part of many of our ceremonies, helping to protect and ground us. We place this medicine in our moccasins so that we walk in a good way. And so she talks about how burning cedar can be part of waves of waves of spiritual protection weave through your physical and energy bodies as lower vibrations are extracted and warded off. Allow yourself to release them fully and feel the purifying and secure medicine that cedar brings. And I have been involved lately with disentangling myself from a somewhat toxic relationship. And so when I saw cedar in the month of November, I thought, oh, wow, cedar definitely is a plant ally that I need to be working with, and specifically in November, but even before that. So in July, I went over to Martha's Vineyard, which is like a 35 or 40-minute ferry ride from where I live. And a friend of mine lives over there and invited me over because the Aquinnah Wampanoag tribe was having it wasn't really a powwow, it was just sort of a gathering. It was dancing and drumming, and people were selling food, local foods, and craft people were there, and it was really lovely. And in the town that I live in, Mashpee, we have the Mashpee Wampanoag, and the Mashpee Wampanoag have a powwow every year in the beginning of July. And somehow this year I just didn't end up going, which is shocking because I've been going every year except for 2 years of the pandemic when they didn't hold the powwow for over 35 years. And I don't know, the weather wasn't great, and I can't remember now but why I didn't go. So I was thrilled to have the opportunity to go to this gathering of the Aquinnah Wampanoag. So we drove up to Aquinnah and to the cliffs, and we could hear the drums, and we were walking around and interacting with all the craft people and the food vendors, and it was really lovely. And we came across a young woman who's an herbalist, and she makes a lot of herbal products, salves and oils and infused honeys and tinctures, and she had a lot of dried herbs that she had foraged and wildcrafted on the vineyard. So I said, oh, do you have any cedar? Because I don't have here. I wonder if you can see here's my yard. It's pretty green and there's a lot of trees, but I don't have any cedar. I have cypress, and I have white pine, and I have pitch pine, and oak, and maple, and cherry, and Coosa dogwood, and all kinds of things, but I have no cedar. So she said, yeah, she did. And so I got a nice big bag of cedar from her. And I thought, wow, I like to gather things myself, but when I don't have it, the second best thing is getting it locally from someone else who gathered it. So this cedar, I just brought a couple of little pieces because it's pretty fragile and I don't want it to break off the little branches. Anyway, I have been burning it, and it's been fabulous. And I have plenty left for November, my month of cedar. So I am going to my goal is to work with and burn cedar every day in the month of November, the month that I pulled this beautiful card. So that is the first thing I wanted to talk about that I have been loving. The next thing is amber. You know, as soon as August rolls around, so this started in August, not July. As soon as August rolls around, all of a sudden I get this hankering and craving for amber. Wearing amber jewelry, putting amber colored cloth on my altar, taking out the pieces of amber I have and placing those on my altar. There's just August and September and even a little bit into October, to me, are just amber. The light is amber. The marshes where I live are turning from vibrant green to a little bit more golden green, and then in August and then into September and finally October, they kind of turn this amber color. And I don't know, I love amber this time of year. So I pulled out a book that I have by Diane Stein. It's called Gemstones A to Z, and she has a bunch of different kinds of amber, as actually do I, but I thought I would go with the golden. So this is an amber ring that I have, oh boy, I bet I have had this at least 25 years, and what really pulled me to this ring was this, it's a wing. So that's the thing about amber. It's pine resin, and inside of it, because it was sticky when it formed, you might find, I've seen pieces of amber with like a hole bug or a leg, or in this case it's a wing. Sometimes you might see a leaf or a little piece of a pine needle or something like that. So it's kind of cool to see that tens of thousands of years old these pieces of resin are. And this piece right here is called butterscotch amber, and from what I was told, it's younger or not as old as the darker golden. And then I have this one, which is even a darker color. So you can see, oh, I have my earrings. I am kind of ambery. So I, for years, went to a gem and mineral show every year in August. And of course, that's when I feel connected and craving of amber. So I would buy a lot of different pieces of amber at the gem show, mineral show. In fact, all of these pieces I've shown you, that's where I got them. So here's what Diane Stein says about amber. It stabilizes the entire hara system and emotional body, promotes certainty of one's path and choices, provides mental and emotional strength, balances and cleanses the energy, which I think can work in conjunction with cedar, provides all aura healing, refills, protects, and repairs the aura. Again, that to me is in line with cedar. And repairs aura tears from too rapid emotional or karmic release, psychic attack removal, or other negative agents, shields against taking on others' pain and healing work, protects against psychic attack, psychic draining, or energy intrusion by others, highly calming. And so, as I mentioned, one of the reasons that cedar spoke to me was because I'm in the process of disentangling myself from a long-term toxic relationship. And so I feel like having amber and cedar working together is helping me to that end. So this is the Lammas card from the Living Wheel Astrology Cards deck by Patrick Fogarty. And the key word for Lammas is savor. And I've spoken to Patrick about this card. It's gorgeous. He lives in Bar Harbor, Maine, which is near Acadia National Park. And the paintings of the seasonal cards are mostly done in Acadia. And if you've never been there, it is an incredibly powerful and beautiful and amazing place. I've seen eagles there, porpoises, seals, hawk, red-tailed hawk, you know, all kinds of beautiful animal allies. And what, you know, summer, as I've mentioned, is my favorite time of the year. And oftentimes, as I would get into the latter parts of August, I would start to feel a little doom and gloom, like how a lot of people feel on Sunday night, like, oh shoot, the weekend is over. And I would kind of feel that about, oh, it's the end of August, oh, summer, it's starting to get darker early, the nights are cooler, it's not as hot, oh, I can see things are starting to turn brown, and oh. And one of the things I talked to, or I posted about that online, and Patrick said to me wisely, Liz, savor every last moment of summer from Lunasa or Lammas until the equinox. And that's 6 or 7 weeks. So it's not over yet. And rather than angsting and feeling sad or missing whatever, enjoy the moment. Savor the now. And so, thank you, Patrick. I really appreciate that advice. It has really changed my perspective on as we come towards the end of summer. Decks. So, this is a deck that I got, I can't remember if I got it at the end of June or July, but I started working with it in July. It's Old Ways Magic Oracle by Naomi Cornock. She is an artist in the UK, in England, and I had seen this oracle posted and walkthroughs a few times online. And I thought, oh, you know, Liz, you did a culling, you're not supposed to be buying, and. So months went by, and I didn't buy it. You can see that I actually did finally buy it. And finally, I just said, you know, I've been thinking about this deck for months, and it still interests me. It's reasonably priced. It's I'm supporting an indie artist. I'm gonna get it. And so I did. And I did get it in June, I think. End of May, beginning of June, whatever. And it just kind of, you know, I looked at it, and I don't even remember if I pulled from it or not, but I looked at it, and I thought, oh man, this is stunning. This is beautiful. So in July, I realized that I hadn't really been using this deck much. So I pulled it out, and I thought, I'm going to pull a card a day until I lose interest in it, or something new comes along, or something old comes along, whatever. So that's what I started doing in July. I was pulling a card a day. And one day recently in August, so maybe a week or so ago, I pulled this card. This is the Cauldron. And that is Ceridwen, the Welsh goddess Ceridwen. She is a goddess of transformation, endings and beginnings, magic, and she is often portrayed with a cauldron. Thus, the name of this card is the Cauldron. Let's see here. Let me get the book. I did not pull this out. So, I pulled the card, And I read the message. So here it is. The Welsh triple goddess Ceridwen is often associated with witches and magic, as well as nature, creativity, herbs, poetry, spells, and knowledge. Her cauldron holds all potential and possibilities. And so I thought, okay, cool, that's interesting. And then the next day I got up and I shuffled my cards and I pulled another card and I pulled Cauldron. And I think it was 3, maybe 4 days in a row I pulled this card and I thought, okay, you know what? I think Ceridwen is calling to me. She wants me to work with her and interact with her. And so that's what I've been doing. And I pulled out this card from the Goddess Oracle by Rana Jaro. And this is the Avalonian Oracle. And the white sow is Ceridwen's sacred animal. And you can see each one of these cards has a cauldron. This is invoking the goddess from Lisa de Saint Croix. And here it says, in my cauldron I brew transformation. I am the shapeshifter, the sorceress that brings change into your life. I am the wise one, blending science and magic. Drink from my cauldron of poetry and prophecy, wisdom and knowledge, inspiration and creativity. Transformation. Transform old habits. Begin anew with inspired wisdom. So I thought all these cards fit together. They all said the same thing. They all had cauldrons. They talked about magic. They talked about change, transformation, and so forth. And I thought particularly what Lisa said on this card was apropos of the work I'm doing to disentangle myself from a toxic relationship. Transform old habits. Begin anew with inspired wisdom. Transformation. So I have been engaging with Ceridwen, and that has been really interesting because she is a deity that I really haven't spent a lot of time interacting with. So I'm kind of really enjoying that. And it has led me to pull out this oracle, the Avalonian Oracle, which is, when I was looking through the cards, I've had this oracle for a long time and I pull it out from time to time, but I was realizing the color palette and something about this oracle really made me feel like it was meant to be worked with from high summer Lammas to fall equinox. So I'm going to be doing that as well. So that is the oracle and deity I'm working with. And then one day I had pulled out my Old Ways Magic card, and I thought, you know, I want to pull some tarot cards to kind of play off that card. And I just sort of glanced down. I have under my sacred space, I have a bunch of wooden boxes where I have my most used and most loved decks, or decks of the moment, or whatever. Anyway, I looked down and I saw this deck, the Shimmering Veil Tarot by Scylla Conway. And this is not a deck that I have used a lot. A dear friend of mine gifted this to me, and it's not really my art style. It's not really a deck that I would normally be attracted to, and in fact I really hadn't used it very much because I thought, I don't know, this is these, let me show you, these 3 cards are my reading for today. So it's the Golden Fool. So we have the Fool at the beginning, card 0, and then this is card 22, the Golden Fool. So this is after the Fool has gone through their journey through the majors and is coming out the other end, not in a circle, but in a spiral. So that's that card, and then this is the Five of Swords, or I think she calls it air. Look at that. Oh my God, that red burgundy in that gray and turquoise is stunning. And then the sun. So those were my cards for today. So I just pulled a few cards from this deck. It's beautiful. And although it's, it's not abstract. Some of the cards are a little more so than others, but I find it highly readable and powerful and deep and meaningful. So I pulled this out about, 4 or 5 days ago, and I think it's going to stay out for a while because I'm really enjoying the readings that I'm getting with that deck. So that is Shimmering Veil by Cilla Conway. And then the final thing I'm enjoying right now, corn. I love corn. This is local. I actually have a friend of mine who has a farm that his family has started in 1935, and he is continuing to run that farm. And they grow eggplant, tomato. I mean, they specialize in strawberries in June and corn August, September, October. And Jeff Andrews, it's called Tony Andrews Farm. Jeff Andrews, he went to Florida in the winter a few years ago. And he ran into this old-time farmer in Florida who did a lot of corn. So Jeff was talking to the guy about how he was so sad about how corn in this country now is almost all GMO and not grown organically very much. And this old-time farmer said, I save my seeds and I have non-GMO corn. And he said, I'm not officially recognized by the organization to be organic. He said, but I am organic. I grow my corn organically. And he took Jeff out into the fields and taught him his techniques. And now Jeff has this corn, that he grows, and it is more or less organic. In fact, very often I'll peel the corn back and go, oh, look, there's a worm. Good sign. No pesticides in this corn. And he has developed his own strains using some of the seeds from the farmer in Florida. So I'm really lucky because I have this beautiful resource near me. He grows sunflowers. You can go out and cut your own sunflowers, your own, I have a little hummingbird buzzing around, your own zinnias and gladiolas and flowers, peaches, everything. And it's just delicious, and it's picked fresh. And so these are the things I'm enjoying August 15th, 2024. What are you enjoying right now? What's making you happy this time of year? Let me know in the comments below. As always, peace and love.